So we're going to go ahead and get started on the FSIP overview. Flight Systems Industrial Products has been around for more than 45 years. This screen says we have more than 100 employees, but I can tell you that last count we were up to more than 120 employees. We are constantly growing due to our strong OEM partnerships and our control manufacturer partnerships as well. We are in a 60,000 square foot building. That is thanks to an expansion that we completed just in the past 6 months here. In November, we moved into a new engineering space and a new warehousing space. We're still in the process of moving, so any of you who are nearby may have seen that exciting expansion for us. And if you were to come in, we'd be happy to give you a tour of the facility, but you'll see we are constantly moving things around as we figure out how to use this new space, which is very exciting for us. So a little bit about the departments that you probably interface with when you talk to Flight Systems Industrial Products. Our sales team and our front office staff, we handle your account management. We handle answering any questions that you may have about how to do business with Flight Systems Industrial Products. We can answer questions about products if you're looking for an upgrade product perhaps, or you're not sure what the right fit is for you. Our sales team can help you with that. And our sales team also spends time traveling in their territories. And so on our website, guys, you can visit fsip.biz, click on the About Us and Our Team section, and you'll be able to see the territory specialists and the territories that they cover. That's not to say that you should not contact customer service. Our customer service team is available to help you answer questions. They are available to place your orders, to give you a quote, to check availability. We know that some of you have used our online catalog and that it's not as user-friendly as you might like. That is definitely on our list for improvement in the next year here. But in the meantime, your customer service staff is friendly and smiley, and they're happy to help you get that pricing and availability that you need. So one of the most important things that you guys can do for us when it comes to doing business with us is include the Remanufacture and Return form that's on our website with each and every order that you send to us. I've got a picture of the form here up on my screen. This is available from our website. If you click on the Forms section, and then I think it's the third or fourth form down. You should print this out, keep a copy. If you don't know your account number, again, customer service or your sales team is happy to get that for you so that you have it. The areas that have to be filled in to make sure that your order is routed appropriately, the account number, your company information, your bill to information if it's different than shipping, the phone number that we can call if we have questions on the order, how you want it shipped is the most important thing. And I will tell you, we get the best rates with FedEx. We're happy to pass on those savings to you. So if you choose to ship with FedEx, you are going to see a little bit lower shipping costs than you would if you were shipping with UPS. We do need a purchase order number, and I know that a lot of you don't use a purchase order number. Our system requires it, and so if you don't give us one, we have to call you and ask you just to make sure there's not something you forgot to fill in. I've seen some of you get very creative with purchase order numbers too because you don't use them. So we appreciate that, but know that that's a system requirement for us, not something that we just do to inconvenience you. We also want you to include as much information about the part that you're sending to us. That includes the vehicle make and model from the part. The serial number is not as important, but we do like to have it for tracking purposes. So if you can, please be sure to include that information as well as the reason, not the reason for failure, but the failure symptom. What is that control doing when you have it installed in the vehicle? And then lastly, Reman Extra is our enhanced warranty. You'll see as we go through that we offer a 1-year warranty on the controls that we remanufacture, but we do offer an extended warranty, and that's what this Reman Extra is. For an additional $20, we will cover up to $100 of any repair or travel expenses that you have because of that warranty form or failure. So make sure that you go check out that remanufacture and return form. On our website, you can actually type into it and then print out a bunch of copies so that you have them and you're ready to roll for every order. So let's see what else we've got here. The very bottom of that form, guys, is the place that is most helpful for our quality and technical support team. You know, I hope that you have all gotten to speak with them. Our technical team is so knowledgeable when it comes to all of these controls, and I'm always impressed that with over 8,000 different part numbers, they're able to troubleshoot the way they are. We have an extensive group of manuals that these guys are able to read through, and our engineers spend countless hours recreating documentation in a step-by-step fashion so that our techs are able to help you. But when you do have a warranty claim and you need to call in and get a return authorization number, we're always going to try and troubleshoot first if we can. Then we're going to give you that RA number. Please, please, please be sure to complete the remanufacture and return form and include that return authorization number. That's going to help make sure that we route your control to the right location inside of FSIP, and it's going to make sure that the order gets entered quickly and that we're able to call you with any kind of warranty analysis that we get back. So our receiving area, this is a really busy place in our warehouse, and truth be told, on the last day of the month, I stay out of there after about 1 o'clock because it gets so crazy and so busy trying to make sure that we're getting orders out the door to you guys in time for your customers' repairs to be completed. So our receiving area gets between 70 and 100 boxes a day. We also get about a skid a day, and those skids need to be broken down. We count and verify all of the products that come in here to make sure that they are what they say they're supposed to be on the paperwork. But I'll tell you, about 40% come in without paperwork. And when we get a control without paperwork, it gets set to the side. And we move through the rest of the controls that do have paperwork with them before circling back to try and research those controls that came in without paperwork. So did they come in for core storage? Did they come in for core returns? Are they here to be remanufactured? Are they here for warranty? And when we don't know, we, again, set them aside, and then we have to do a lot of research to figure out where they're supposed to go. When we do know where they go, they're routed directly to the appropriate department. So your remanufacturing orders are placed with the paperwork that you send and sent to our customer service team to get those orders entered. Your warranty returns are sent with their paperwork to the quality department. They look at it and go ahead and get that entered. Core returns go through quite a process. They are sent to our core return specialist who verifies the order number that it's being returned against. She also verifies the condition of the core. We do require that cores are rebuildable when you send them in. And then she verifies that it is returned within the 180-day window that is the maximum amount of time in which we'll accept a core return. So our Reman offerings, you guys all know this, but I'm going to cover it with you anyway. We offer remanufacturing on controllers, chargers, handsets, dash displays, combustion controls, and GE contactors. So a little bit about General Electric. We acquired that product line from General Electric back in 2010. One of the greatest things that I think came out of that, and one of the coolest things for me when I walked through this plant is we closed down manufacturing facilities in Puerto Rico and brought the manufacturing of General Electric controls and contactors to central Pennsylvania. And so for those of you, again, who are local, it is impressive to come through and take a tour of our facility and see that equipment in this building and in central Pennsylvania. So I encourage you to do that if you have the opportunity. But we, on the GE controller side, we remanufacture those. We're still manufacturing them for new vehicle builds for some of the larger truck manufacturers. And then we also offer conversion kits that use those controls, as well as manufacturing and remanufacturing on contactors. And we have the LX handsets available for sale as well. Those are also manufactured here in our Carlisle, Pennsylvania facility. So Curtis Instruments is one of our largest business units here that we support. Curtis provides us technical support because we are their authorized remanufacturing facility. They have provided us with the wiring mapping, the control board layouts, any software updates, and they also provide us all of their proprietary information, including hardware and software changes. So that's for controllers as well as handsets on the Curtis side. That agreement, you know, one of the ways that I always explain it is that their engineers know about a change to a control first, and then we do. And that's a pretty neat thing for us. When you get a Curtis controller back that has been remanufactured by Flight Systems Industrial Products, it is sometimes better than it was when it first came off the line because it has been upgraded to the latest specifications. So you can see there, that is the Curtis line in that picture. That's only part of it. On the behind the window, or behind the shelves over here, you can see my mouse. There's another group of people just like this that are specialized technicians who are rebuilding the power bases for these controls, and that's a very intricate job with lots of very small components. We just don't have a camera big enough to get you a great shot of all of that, but there's a lot more to that line than what you're seeing there. Other lines, we do have exclusive remanufacturing agreements with Danaher, Kollmorgen, InMotion. They're all three of those names. I'm sure you know them by all three. Sevcon and Navitas. And then we also offer remanufacturing on Zappi, Young-Heinrich, Iskra Controls, Schaaf Controls, Rema Liprint, Control Tech. And on the combustion control side, we do controls from IMCO, on the GFI Teleflex, and then those Nissan MEC 34s, we do remanufacturing on those as well. The area of our business that has grown the most in the past 3 to 5 years is what we affectionately call charger land inside here. And for those of you who are in the golf cart repair business, you know that there was a big need to remanufacture golf cart chargers. And on the forklift side and the industrial material handling side, I know that you see it in some of those pallet jack chargers as well. Those things get really beat up throughout their usage, and there is no way to remanufacture them out there. Well, we found a way, and so we have grown this line probably double since I started. We remanufacture chargers from Delta Q, they're QE, they're quick, and again on the golf cart side, if you know Club Car and the Eric charger, that has just been released into our remanufacturing program. We remanufacture chargers from Yamaha, Zyvan, Signet, Lester, SPE, who we have an exclusive remanufacturing agreement with, and we also distribute those chargers new. We remanufacture DPI chargers as well as the boards, and then Elcon chargers as well. So you can see there's a lot of different chargers that we are remanufacturing. These go through 2 separate test phases, and these tests have all been written by internal FSIP staff, which is the coolest thing to see here too. We have a great software engineer who writes all of this testing for us so that it's able to go through all of the phases that it would when it's connected to a vehicle and charging. So the long test is after all repairs have been made, but then there's a short test while we're reassembling the charger to make sure that we haven't pinched any wires or make sure that we haven't forgotten to solder something. So you're getting a charger back that's gone through some extensive testing. And we also offer replacement cords for most of the chargers out there. On some of them, guys, they are hardwired into the case, and if that's the case, we're not able to sell those to you, but if they're easy to attach, we can help you out with replacement charger cords. Joysticks. So this yellow one right here, I hear fails a lot, and I understand it to be very expensive new. We do remanufacture that one. One of the things I'll tell you is make sure you remember that the harnesses that stick out of the bottom of your joysticks, they're not for carrying purposes. We see that quite a lot here, that those cords are being damaged because of the way the joysticks are being handled when they're outside of the truck. But so we're remanufacturing Crown, Raymond, multiple Heister Yale, including this upside down one right here, joysticks, and Schaaf joysticks. The dash display side, I'm not going to read through that whole list there, but some of the most popular ones are the Toyota and the Curtis Instrument panel, Clark and NACO displays as well. So let's talk about what happens when your control comes in here. The very first steps is that it's going to be broken down and goes through a set of pre-test discovery steps. So what our service center tells us is that a visual inspection normally discovers about 60% of the reason for fault. And what that means is when they take the case off and they look at the control, 60% of the time they're going to see something that blew. You've all smelt a burnt control, I'm sure. You've all seen the signs of a control where one component was the issue of the control. But when it's not that visual inspection that shows the problem, it also goes through a bench test where we're passing a small amount of current through it to look for an obvious fault. Once the preliminary diagnostic results are in, the product is sent to the proper line tech for remanufacturing. And so earlier I showed you that Curtis picture and explained that there's a separate group behind what you were able to see there. And this is where the specialized technicians come into play. So the electronics are typically separated from the power board. The power board is remanufactured. I'm so sorry, guys. We're having phone line issues here, and it looks like our audio just dropped. I hope that you're all still able to hear me. I do have my screen paused right now while I was dialing back in, so my apologies. Let's keep moving, though, and we'll try and stay on schedule. Right now we're doing good just 20 minutes into this presentation. So what I was talking about before the phone system so rudely interrupted me is the difference between remanufactured and repaired controls. And again, what I was saying is I hear that there's some mom and pop shops, so there's a local facility that might be able to repair your control. It's probably going to be a little bit more cost conscious to do it that way, but you have to look at long-term use and quality on that control. And so when it comes to this graphic, a repair facility is going to repair the piece that caused the issue. The difference is that Flight Systems Industrial Products is going to replace not only the broken components, but also the compromised or stressed components, and also upgrade and load test your controls. So our testing area, I mentioned it when we talked about chargers, but We have a very extensive testing area. Again, if you're ever here, please stop by because we have these great big giant machines and they're so neat to see. But we have a large dyno testing area where your control goes through a full load test. This is going to replicate what the control might encounter when it's used in the field. Your control turns a real motor, and you can see them. There's multiple different motors here on this test machine set up to make sure that we're using the appropriate motor for the control that you have. Some of the machines actually spit out a label that has the results from the testing on it, and in others of the machines, the tech is able to see the results on the screen. Again, all of our testing is developed by the FSIP engineers. This is a final test area, but there are testing areas at each of the individual product line areas as well. So it's going to go through a bench test when it's initially brought in to determine what the failure cause is. It's going to go through smaller bench tests throughout the procedure of remanufacturing. As it begins to be reassembled, it's going to be tested. It will be tested at the line once it has been remanufactured and reassembled, and then it does go through a final testing phase. So quite a lot of testing here. Product appearance is another thing that's very important to us, and we know it's important to you and your customers as well. We always shoot to restore the product appearance to like-new condition. So that means that we're going to sandblast any metal cases. We're going to paint them if we need to. And if we have and can offer you a new case, we will apply it. Now, in some of them, and I saw some participants on the call who might be familiar with this, maybe the CAT micro commands, those AC commands. You guys know those cases can end up in some pretty bad shape, and we will always do our best on those. Those are proprietary parts, but we do the best that we can with the cases that we have available. So what happens if you send us an order that has multiple units on it? You know, they're split up based on what the product is. So if it's a charger and a Curtis control, for instance, they're routed to different locations in the plant, and then they need to be brought back together. Because they're completed separately, they're brought to a designated area where they wait for the other controls to be brought through once they're completed as well. And then we ship out the complete order. We offer partial shipment, so if there's ever a time where you say, oh my gosh, I need this thing back first, please let us know, indicated on your Reman and Return form. We lovingly call it our R&R form. Or contact your customer service or sales specialist, and they'd be happy to partially ship an order for you. One thing to keep in mind is that it's just not that you send your product to us to have it remanufactured. We also have over 4,100 finished products on the shelf ready to be shipped. Most of the time that's going to be same day for you. So if you have a customer who's down and you need something right away, we have that. We will send it to you, and then we do charge a core charge until we get your rebuildable core back in-house at FSIP. We also maintain an inventory of over 35,000 rebuildable cores. So we have a core aisle that is not just a core aisle anymore. As we've moved into this new warehouse, it's an entire section of our warehouse that houses your dirty, broken, rebuildable cores waiting to be rebuilt by our specialized technicians. So our shipping area, we got through it. Everything's been remanufactured, it's clean, it's beautiful, it's ready to go, and it's coming back to you. It's visually inspected not only by the technicians, but then also by our customer service team, and once again by our shipping team. Your credit card is charged if that's the packing method, or I'm sorry, the payment method that you use. A packing slip is enclosed with every order that we send out of here. That does not have a price on it. That is not your invoice. And that's one of the calls that I think our customer service team gets the most often is, oh my gosh, there wasn't a price included when you sent me this control. That's because we mail invoices the next day. For us, that's the way to make sure that the invoice gets to the right department. You text, don't try and tell me otherwise. I know you just root for the product, you get it, and you install it. You're not worried about taking the paperwork to accounting to make sure the bill gets paid for it. So that's the way that we handle that to make it easier for you guys. So a new thing that we're offering, I think some of you have probably heard this used a different way, but we started a new program in November called our General Repairs Program. We have dedicated electronics engineers on staff who troubleshoot products that are currently not in our remanufacturing program. We have a database of parts that our customers have requested, and we are looking to add new products through this program and our remanufacturing program. So the General Repairs Program is for things that we have not seen through our remanufacturing program. They are things that maybe aren't used in an industrial truck, but maybe on a conveyor belt system. Shrink wrapping machines, we've seen some components out of those in here. We repaired a display for a steamroller the other week, and it was a gas steamroller, and that was something different for us. We have repaired the laser scanners that are used in shipping machines, and so that's the kind of stuff that's going through our General Repairs Program. But as we see enough of those things come through, we are reverse engineering them, drawing out complete schematics, and then making them available with a 1-year warranty through our remanufacturing program. But if it goes through the General Repairs Program, you are going to get a 90-day warranty, which is different than we've previously handled these kind of oddball products. So another service that FSIP offers for you guys is our core storage program. I know that you have cores that you're going to need remanufactured, but you don't need them right now. You send them to us, we will store them here, and that helps cut down on shipping time to us when you need the unit, and it helps cut down on shipping time back to you because you don't have to worry about that 3 days that we're going to have it here as well. So I've had people say to me, but Morgan, how do I know that you're not using my cores to fill your customers' orders? Again, I welcome you to come by if you're local. You'll see that your cores are stored separate from other dealers' cores, and they're also stored in a separate location than the FSIP cores are stored as well. Another service we've added is manufacturing. So I talked so much about closing down manufacturing from the GE product line and bringing it here to central Pennsylvania. A lot of that came with machinery. So we have some cool machines here. We're able to offer bobbin winding, wire harness, as well as metalworking services to our customers. So we have been manufacturing quite a few of these things internally for use in our own products. Wire harnesses for our conversion kits, and we use the bobbin winding machine to wind coils for our contactors. Metalworking, we're always cutting and working on new cases for the controls that we manufacture here. But we can offer those services to our customers as well. So if there's a harness that you use frequently, we would be interested in quoting you on that if that's something that we can help you out with. So I'm going to fumble through here and unmute your phones. We have been keeping track of questions and answering them throughout the system as we could, but I'm going to unmute you, and if you have questions, let's answer them that way. So just bear with me here for 1 minute while I get the phones unmuted.
Just got a question. You make wiring harnesses for easy-go. No, not this time, but we can look at that. Hold on, let me figure out how.
There you are. You're all unmuted. Somebody's in a workshop. All right, guys, so I do have you unmuted right now. Does anybody have any questions? I saw there was just one that came through about wire harnesses for RXVs, Easy-Go golf carts. At this time, we are not manufacturing those harnesses, but if you are interested, you can email us at manufacturing@fsip.biz, and we can get a quote together for you based on what your usage would be on something like that. Any other questions from anybody out there? No?
Do you do anything with the old PC packs and the old Nativus controllers and stuff off the bad boys?
Yeah, we can help you out with controls from the Bad Boy. We do remanufacture those Navidus controllers for Bad Boy buggies. And the PC pack, do you mean the subcon controller or do you mean the software?
Yeah, it's the subcon controller.
Yeah, I can help you out with the subcon. Some of those controls are not remanufacturable because of the potting that's in them. And when that's the case, I can typically get you a new one.
Okay.
Okay.
¿En la ciudad rápida? Sí. No, este es el abdomen. Los dos son de abdomen.
All right.
Hey, Morgan.
Who said, hey, Morgan? I heard you.
Okay. Yeah, this is Butch from Keller Warehouse in Defiance, Ohio. Hey, I get CAT inverters rebuilt.
Okay.
And the question I have is, you know, we come up with new torque specifications on the terminals, but every once in a while on one of those inverters on the FP and N terminals, you do not get a good tighten on them. It's like if you keep, you know, you have your torque wrench on them and try to tighten them up to the appropriate specs, it doesn't ever draw tight. I mean, we would never have any problem with them,
Okay.
but it's not like it's actually drawn in. It just keeps turning the same easy.
That's interesting. We have different torque wrenches available for the guys at the bench, and we always try to be careful not to over-torque things so that you don't miss that screwing capability.
Right.
Let me talk to
Right.
the guys about that, Butch. What company did you say you were with?
Yeah, with Keller Warehouse in
Thank
Defiance,
you.
Ohio.
Thank you. I'll look into that, and I will have Steve is your sales specialist. I'll have Steve get back in touch with you on that.
Okay. It hasn't
Okay.
caused any problems because usually if you have a meltdown or something, it's on the power terminals,
Right.
the UVW ones. So
Okay.
these really haven't any issues, but it's just like you don't know where you're at when you try to tighten that thing because it just doesn't draw right.
Okay. Yeah, let me talk to the techs out there about that, and I'll have Steve get back in touch with you.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
All right, guys, I'm so sorry for the background noise there. I don't know who's in Santa's workshop, but sounds like they're having a good time. If there aren't any other questions, I am going to go ahead and end the webinar. I appreciate your time. We did get this done in just over a half hour, and I apologize for the phone systems issues that we had. If you have, please feel free to reach out to your customer service team or your sales team. Thanks again for taking the time out, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.
Great. Bye.